I'd lived on Maple Court for 6 years. Sarah and her husband Danny moved in 3 years ago, right across the street. Quiet couple. He worked in IT, she was a teacher. We weren't close, but we were neighborly. Waved in the morning, borrowed. A ladder once. That kind of thing. The street itself was the kind of place people moved to on purpose. Lined with old oaks, small front yards, houses that looked like they'd been there forever. Families, retirees, a couple of young professionals. It was boring in the best way. But over the last year, something had shifted. There was a house at the end of the block, a rental that had been cycling through tenants. First, it was a couple with a loud dog. Then it sat empty for a while. Then about 4 months ago, a group moved in. Guys in their 20s. I didn't know how many. I'd see different cars in the driveway, people coming and going at weird hours. They weren't causing problems exactly. No parties, no violence. But the vibe was off. They'd sit on the porch at night, music playing low, and just watch. If you walked by, they'd stare, not hostile, just aware. A few neighbors mentioned it at the block association meeting in May. Linda, 2 houses down, said her daughter didn't like walking past that house anymore. Paul, the guy on the corner, said someone went through his recycling bin one night. Nothing concrete. Nothing you could prove. Just an edge of discomfort people didn't know how to name. The landlord didn't live nearby. When people called, he said the tenants were paid up and quiet. Technically, there was nothing to complain about. After I helped Sarah that day, I figured it was a one-off. Wrong place, wrong time. But 2 weeks later, I saw the same guy in the gray hoodie walking past my house. He looked right at me, smiled, and kept walking. It started small. Sarah stopped going outside as much. I noticed because she used to sit on her front porch in the evenings with a book. Now the porch stayed empty. Danny started driving her to and from work, even though the school was only 10 minutes away. When I asked him about it one Saturday, while we were both getting our mail, he just shrugged. She's been stressed, easier this way. Then the cars started showing up. Not every night, but 2, 3 times a week, a beat-up sedan or an SUV with dark windows would roll down Maple Court. Slow. Too slow. Sometimes they'd stop in front of a house for a minute, not long enough to park. Just long enough to make you notice. Linda called. The police once. They came, took a report, said they'd patrol more often. I saw a squad car drive through twice that week, then nothing. Paul organized a neighborhood watch meeting. 8 of us showed up in his living room. We talked in circles for an hour. Someone suggested cameras. Someone else said we should talk to the landlord again. Someone said we were overreacting. We agreed to keep an eye out, to report anything strange, to look out for each other. It felt useless. The next week, my car got keyed. Not deeply. Just a thin scratch along the passenger side, like someone dragged a coin across it while walking by. I reported it. The officer who came said it could have been kids. Could have been random, but it wasn't random. I knew that because the same week, Linda's trash cans were knocked over 3 nights in a row, Paul's mailbox got dented, and someone spray-painted a single word on the stop sign at the end of the block. Watching. They pressure-washed it off, but it didn't matter. The message landed. We were all rattled. But no one wanted to admit we were being targeted, because targeted meant there was a reason. And none of us could figure out what the reason was. Then Sarah stopped leaving her house entirely. I didn't realize how bad it was until Danny knocked. On my door one night in late August, he looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Greg, can I talk to you?" I let him in. He sat on my couch and put his head in his hands. "They know where she works," he said. I felt my stomach drop. "What?" 2 of them showed up in the school parking lot last week, just standing by her car. Didn't say anything, didn't do anything, just stood there until she got in and drove away. Did she report it? To who? The school? The police? What are they gonna do? They haven't done anything. They're just there. He looked up at me. His eyes were red. "She's terrified, Greg. She won't eat. She barely sleeps. I don't know what to do. I told him to file another report, to get a lawyer, to document everything." He nodded, but I could see he didn't believe it would help. 3 days later, I saw Sarah for the first time in weeks. She was getting into Danny's car. She looked thin. Her hair was pulled back tight, and she moved fast, like she was being chased. Waved. She didn't wave back. I don't think she even saw me. That Friday, Danny's car was slashed, all 4 tires, in their driveway, in broad daylight. Paul's camera caught part of it. A figure in a dark jacket and a hood. No face, no plates. The police came again. Took another report. Said they'd increase patrols. But by then it didn't matter. Because the following Monday, Sarah and Danny's house went up for sale. They were gone in 2 weeks. No goodbye. No forwarding address. Just a realtor's sign and an empty driveway. I didn't blame them. None of us did. But something broke when they left. Linda moved out 2 months later. Said she didn't feel safe anymore. Paul started talking about selling, too. The rental house at the end of the block is still occupied. I see people coming and going. Different faces now. Maybe the same ones. I don't look too closely anymore. The street's quieter now. Not in a peaceful way. In the way a place gets quiet when people stop talking to each other. When everyone keeps their heads down and their doors locked. I still mow my lawn on Saturdays. I still wave at the neighbors who are left. But I don't walk at night anymore. And when I hear voices outside, I don't look up. I think about that day a lot, the day I stepped in. I thought I was helping. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I wonder now if I made it worse. If my phone, my presence, my interruption painted a target on Sarah's back. On all of us. I don't know if that's true. I'll never know. But what I do know is this. Sometimes doing the right thing costs more than you expect. And sometimes the people who need help the most are the ones who vanish because no one could keep them safe. There are moments you can't take back, decisions that seem small when you make them, but ripple outward in ways you never see coming. You think you're standing up. You think you're protecting someone. And maybe you are. But protection only works when the system behind it holds. When the people meant to help actually can. When being right is enough. It wasn't enough. And now every time I look across the street at that empty house, I'm reminded that sometimes the cost of doing nothing is silence. But the cost of doing something can be so much worse.